I'll try to reproduce my popular post has. I prepped these little areas in Photoshop ahead of time and went into AI Remix. Finding something that's got a more subtle effect than some of the others, and using the high processing, adjusting a little bit of the exposure contrast. I don't know if we'll get the same result as before. I'm going to try to tweak it as much as I can to try to get there. But I can't remember every single step I did before. I didn't record it. So that white windshield, I want to mask away some of that whiteness. It was a reflective windshield. I want to bring some of that back. So use a mask with a partially black, more of a dark gray, and that looks pretty good. And where the headlights are, I want to get those, make them a little shinier. Adjust my brush size, and that's looking pretty good. So you see, this is a nice subtle AI remix, not over the top. And then I recall I did use one of my effects, which is adapted from the Tony Sweet sketch, and this is a smoothed soft sketch, and get a nice effect out of that. And then this is a 1950s print texture overlay that we're going to erase some of the distractions in the background using an edge-aware brush, and if necessary, adjust the size of the brush, decide where you want to use it, where you don't want to use it. Some of it's, of course, a matter of personal taste. A much softer brush gives a nicer transition in some of these places. So I want the truck to stand out more than the background, but some of the background elements are kind of nifty, so we may want to keep some of them. And then I converted to black and white. I don't think I did that quite the same as I did before, because I probably adjusted the blues versus the other colors differently. But here I'm going to recover some of that effect just by going into a basic adjustment and adjusting things like clarity and black levels. Now I'm going for a color overlay and looking for something like a sepia kind of tone, and change the blend mode to color. And then I know I used a basic correction before, so we'll apply that again. And that puts a lot more saturation into that sepia. It brings out some more clarity. And just reduce the opacity of it a little bit. I think I'll try something slightly different, and then we can always try to rematch later. But you know, when you do the same thing repeatedly but didn't write anything down, you might get a little different result. So here I'm just trying to bring out some of that bronzy gold look and less of the blue, less of the aqua. Real subtle, if anything, on those colors. Definitely not as much gold as we had before. see if we can fix that. So going to see if I can get sort of a mask to just affect the midtones of the car, or the light midtones. Seeing if that helps at all. So that was a Luma mask. And we just try things. If they work, great. If they don't work, great. So I had saved that sepia color so I could use it again by making it a preset for color overlay. And I can bring it up a little bit in intensity, and that's looking closer to where we've been with the one I published. Just scrolling through the different blend modes to see if there's anything better than color, but I think we'll stick with color. It's a pretty good image just the way it is, but comparing it to the old one, I see there's a lot more blue in this one and not as much gold. So doing another color overlay, trying sepia again to see if that'll work, and that's toning down the blues, at least. Again, scrolling through, see if there's anything better. It's a pretty nice effect. This is getting closer, except we still don't have that gold. So let's try another color overlay, and this time make a bolder, something between a tan and a gold. And that's doing pretty well, but it's going places I don't necessarily want it. I'm going to call this color tan gold so I can use it again if I need to. And then we're going to erase some of that color. Try different opacities of brush strokes to see if we can get that feeling back that I had in the original one that I posted. So just a very slight hint of blue in the body, and leave the window alone, and all the shiny chrome parts to make them kind of glowing gold. That's getting pretty close to what we've had in the past. And I'm just doing this kind of quickly to try to show you how I came up with the original one. If I were really trying to go for the nth degree of reproduction, I would go around and tidy up some of the spillover around the edges. But for today, I just want to get the car looking pretty close to what I had before in my post. And there we go. That's looking good. Let's put on a vintage overlay, Breaking Dawn, and tone it down a little bit. That helps. Looks like it's helping mute some of that. That's the one I posted. This is the new one. It's pretty close. Good enough. And so once that gets tweaked the way we want it, we apply that layer again. Maybe tweak the blue down or up, and the overall hue, change it a little bit. Maybe change the gold saturation and the blue, and apply it. And there's the one I published. This one is the new one. Maybe tweak down the overall saturation. That's looking more like it. Maybe get a little more contrast in the image. It's looking a little flat. Apply it, and then let's just put the signature on it and call it a day.